for this October. I think we all are, right?
Yeah.
I know Paul Ernst was in October of 1935 when he wrote The Hollywood Horror. Welcome back to Pulp Analysis, Under Pulp Analysis, UPA. This is our podcast. UPA.
The Undercooked Analysis, Dr. Satan. Okay, let's hold on.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to work.
Cinematic Universe? Cinematic universes aren't as big as they used to be, I just realized.
They're not.
It's the UCADSPACU. The Undercooked Analysis, Dr. Satan, Pulp Cinematic Universe.
Now my question is, how does it connect to Happy Yappy? How does this...
Dronian, get at us. Seriously, Dronian. Come on.
If you connected the Happy Happy Universe, it would be the Uka Hakudspaku. Wait, no, it wouldn't. There wouldn't be another hack. Uka Hadspaku. There we go.
Welcome back to the Uka Haspaku.
Is this comedy? Everyone listening?
It's comedy. I think it's comedy. Listen, it's a little hard because I hate to inform everyone this. There's a conspicuous absence here tonight. The Dr. Satan's curse has finally struck down Abysmii, and he has been cursed with skeletonitis.
Oh no,
he's a skeleton now. So
nah, he's feeling kind of sick. So we have to.
Yeah, of being a skeleton. So he's trying to find a cure. So while he's dealing with his skeletonness, we've been left here with future Maureen. Who also is a skeleton, but is soldiering through, just showing how fucking dedicated future Maureen is. And we're going to go ahead and soldier on with Abysmii's blessing and read the second part of the Hollywood Horror by Paul Ernst.
I did listen ahead of time to the episode, so I know what the story is about. My apologies. I was hungover.
It's okay. At least you weren't turned into a skeleton.
No, I was like, guys, I drank last night and feels very sick this morning, and I'm sorry.
Yeah, it happens. I'm just glad you're with us now.
Yeah,
glad you survived. Glad that you didn't become a skeleton. You survived the biggest. You survived the movie The Hangover, and now.
Although I found it wild, because as soon as the woman I was listening, and as soon as the woman started talking, I'm like, oh, it's an illusion. It's illusion. It's all an illusion spell, and it kept going. And I'm like, do they not realize it's an illusion spell? What if it's all an illusion? My God, it took you this long to realize it was illusion.
I mean, there was definitely one of those things that's like something weird is happening here. We can sense it. It's not just, oh my God, she's a skeleton, because the logic. But Paul Ernst was already one step ahead of us, so that was good.
Yes.
Are you ready to rock some socks and see how this movie, this cinematic masterpiece ends?
Where are we in the story?
Oh, we are on part 3, The Heart of the Web.
Is it only? Okay. Does it only go to 5 chapters?
I think in this one it only goes to 4. And we will finish the third Dr. Satan story, and we'll be now. After having read this, we will be what 4 stories in? Yeah. Wow. The gift that keeps on giving, Dr. Satan. Okay, I gotta get in the right mindset for this. Who's ready for some dumb shit?
Yeah, boy.
The best dumb shit.
Who's ready for some dumb shit? The Undercooked Analysis.
That's. Listen, we're coming up on our 10-year anniversary here pretty
Holy
soon.
Shit.
That really is the motto of Undercooked Analysis. Who's ready for some dumb shit? Do we want to roll off, or shall we just kind of arbitrarily pick who?
Well, let's roll. Okay, I got an 18.
Okay. I got a 16.
I got a 4.
Okay.
Alan, David, me.
Okay, perfect.
Chapter 3, The Heart of the Web.
Madam Web.
It's about Skibbity Toilet.
God damn it, no! The brain rot is here!
Isn't it weird to say, when I saw Heart of the Web, my first thought was, oh, like the internet web of the 90s?
People getting mad about Skibbity Toilet is maybe my favorite new hilarious thing. Because the same people getting mad about Skibbity Toilet are the same people who sat me down in my youth and were like, so watch this website. It's a song, but it's about a badger and a mushroom.
Hey, we talked about this last time, generational brain rot.
Oh, that was with Kylie.
Yeah, we talked to Kaela Keane about generational brain rot. Keep in mind, where I work, literally every day, children run in with no context and just yell, "Skibbity toilet," and then run away. When you're faced with that every single day, it gets a little tedious.
The motion picture industry is still a new one, and RGR is not a pioneer company.
Boo.
None of its buildings is very old. But
none of its buildings is very old. Is a very
it's a bad sentence.
Yeah. Damn, Paul.
Paul.
None of its buildings is very old, but one of them, the property warehouse, was old enough so that all but a few veteran workmen had forgotten one feature of its construction. Under the north end of the warehouse was a deep, circular pit. At one time, the mechanism for a large, buried, movable stage had been in that pit, a stage set beside the original smaller warehouse. Then the stage had been discarded. The warehouse had needed enlarging, and workmen had floored the unused pit and built the warehouse over it. Dark, secret, forgotten. It had yawned beneath the cement floor, untouched for years, but it was untouched and forgotten no longer.
Woo!
Less than 400 yards from the conference room in which 8 executives sat in pallid fear, the pit teemed now with activity. Just show us Dr. Satan.
Allen.
In the center...
The man is still being paid by the word.
In the center was a big electric motor. Of course. Our villain. Big electric motor.
We meet again. The arch enemy of Vice President Dorr.
Once the power source of the movable stage mechanism, then left to rust. Outmoded. Now cleaned and repaired again. It was running, sending out a low hum that filled the round pit with a murmuring noise. Beside it were 3 men. One, normal and average. No. The other 2 like gargoyles out of a nightmare. That's mean.
Oh boy. Gerson Bostiff?
The one was a workman in coveralls with rubber-insulated pliers in his hand. Oh, I guess it's not Dr. Satan. It's just some guy.
Okay, it's some regular guy, I guess.
Never mind. Sorry,
okay.
Paul.
No, it's okay, Paul. You jumped the gun.
The one was a workman in coveralls with rubber-insulated pliers in his hand. He shrank from the other 2 as he stood there, and no wonder. One of these 2 was a giant of a man with no legs who moved about between his swinging arms with an astonishing speed and agility. The other was a small fellow with matted hair over his face, through which pale, cruel eyes peered like those of a sadistic monkey. The legless giant was Bostiff, servant of Dr. Satan. The smaller man was Gers, another henchman. It feels like you could have saved servants of Dr. Satan till the end then, huh?
Yeah, kind of.
Both.
It also
servants of Dr. Satan.
Yeah. It kind of feels like they also gave unfair privilege to Bostiff when Gers is just as equally important here.
Mm-hmm.
I tell you, this old motor won't hold together much longer, chattered the man in overalls.
Coveralls.
Did I say overalls?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the same thing.
If you take the C out, it's just overalls. So.
Well, coveralls are more like one of those gas station suits sort of thing.
Coveralls are satellite love attire.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, true.
That's how overalls are.
So I should vote. So what you're saying is I should. Okay, hold on. I don't have to voice this. I'm gonna take it again. Oh man, I tell you, this old motor won't hold together much longer, chattered the man in coveralls. I didn't think I'd ever get it in working order in the first place.
Oh my god.
You got it in working order, rumbled Bostiff, because you'd have been killed if you hadn't. You'll keep it in working order for the same reason. What are you using it for anyway? Babbled the workman. How long are you going to keep me here?
Hold me here.
Why am I?
I really like that this work guy repaired this and then turned to Gerson Bostiff just like, so what are you guys doing?
You You want to go grab a couple drinks after this?
You wanna go see a movie?
This is crazy. What's it for?
And how long are you going to hold me here? A sinister smile appeared on Bostiv's stupid, savage face.
Jesus!
We'll hold you here as long as we need an electrician, he growled. As for what the motor is used for, is to make things happen to women like Joan Harwell and men like that damn rich man, Stang.
I can't.
Wait. Why don't I remember Stang?
Oh, yeah.
I remember Stang because I talked about the fact that once upon a time in wrestling in the 90s, there was a guy there was a fake Sting, and the fans took to calling him Stang.
That's right. Okay, now I remember.
But how in the name of... Shut up, snapped Bostiv, cracking the flat of his huge hand against the electrician's mouth. Ooh. The electrician staggered back with blood flowing from his lips. As he did so, a red light near the roughly cut entrance of the circular pit snapped on and off. It's him, said Gers, hopping monkey-like toward the entrance. Look, boss, the plane. Bostiv drew his gigantic body up on the backs of his hands as though standing to attention. Gers opened the door. A figure came through that was as bizarre and extraordinary as something cut from a book of ancient illustrations.
That's a better description of our guy.
Yeah, that's absolutely. A figure that looked as though made up for the part of Lucifer in some ghastly masquerade. A red robe sheathed I'm struggling so much right now.
Hey, hey, David, we read for this show, so you should probably learn to read.
So, Kaela, you're the new co-host forever and
How
ever.
dare you.
I'm leaving the show
No,
now.
last time I tried to co-host, I failed. Or tried to host.
No, you did fine.
Hey, a red robe sheathed its gauntness as a red scabbard might sheathe a lean blade. Red rubber gloves covered the hands.
I like that I got shafted as host immediately.
That it has to be me, the one who last time I did it struggled, and then Allen and Abysmii took over.
I think the reason I do this though is because hey, it's a longevity thing. You were on the very, very, very first episode.
Barely.
Barely. What do you mean barely?
Because the first one was actually
the first one was you and me doing.
No, it was technically you, Ben, and I can't remember the other.
Oh well, that was the pilot, and then only got released recently to the public. I'm talking about Laughing Jack.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. Red rubber gloves covered the hands. A red mask concealed the face, save for burning black eyes like a doll's eyes. Over the hair was a red skull cap with two small knobs like sardonic devil's horns. Dr. Satan, murmured Bostiv hoarsely.
That's exactly how he should be greeted every single time.
Just like in awe?
Yes.
Dr. Satan.
He's so hot.
Like the fires of hell where you bitches will burn when you die.
It's like person Bostiv just drool looking at him.
That's the only reason he doesn't pay them. They just think Dr. Satan's attractive.
Yeah.
Hi, Dr. Satan. How's your walk?
Satan senpai. I'm tagging you in, Kaela.
Okay, where is it?
You're at you're starting here.
Dr. Satan, woo-woo.
Ooh-woo. The electrician murmured or whimpered. God damn it! I didn't want to take from you.
Is there a gas leak over there?
There might be.
The electrician whimpered and drew from the sinister form in red. Dr. Satan's jet black eyes flicked over the unfortunate man, noting the blood oozing from his cut lips. He has been trying. I'm trying to do this one. He's been trying to get away? He asked Bostiv. The legless giant shook his head. No, that he feared he. What am I doing?
I like it.
He feared he could not keep this. Was that JFK? What the fuck?
Ira. you could do Boston like JFK.
It more sounded like you were going for a New Zealand accent. Not yet.
Brett, I'm Jermaine.
Not yet.
Not that he feared he could not keep this old equipment running. The red mask over Dr. Satan's face moved a bit, as though to a smile. He will keep it running, came the arrogant flat voice no. He loves life.
This guy fucks.
I mean, who doesn't? I
would hope so.
This guy fucking parties.
This guy knows where the real shit is. Dr. Satan turned toward Gerse. The little man's pale eyes wavered under the impact of the coal black ones glaring from the eye holes in the mask. Gerse, there is more for you to do. Take the fine wire and run it from this pit to the RGR conference room. Attach it to the light socket over the third chair on the left-hand side of the big table. The third chair, Gerse! Make no mistake, it is in the chair that Bertrand Phillips sits.
Gerse, I swear to God, if you put someone in the wrong chair again... It nothing.
You know what happened in the first book?
It has like nothing to do with like his scheme. Dr. Satan just has obsessive compulsive disorder. And as you leave, hit the light switch 47 times.
It has to be the third chair, but doesn't Bertrand sit in the second chair? Third chair!
Just because I always got third chair in band class.
An evil chuckle came from the masked lips. Because that light gives diffused illumination instead of a beam of it like a spotlight. We shall be able to control the rays quite so thoroughly. It will be amusing to see the results. If Phillips defies me, he might become a partial skeleton from the waist up instead of merely exchanging a normal head for a skull.
Oh,
used to play bass for Partial Skeleton.
Oh, that actually is a sick name for like a metal band.
I kind of dig it.
I want to give a shout out on the McElroys do this live stream that's called the McElroy Family Clubhouse.
Oh yeah,
and they had a game they were playing on there, which was they invited a punk journalist who had come up with a bunch of fake punk names, and there was only one real one in all of the mixes, and yeah, I felt very seen.
A wire is to be laid from this pit to the third light on the left side of the conference table, muttered Gerse, parrot-like. It shall be done, master. And it is to be attached at this end to the transformer. Transformer? We got transformers in... Okay. Not Dr. Satan. He paused an instant and then said harshly, This man has not been allowed to examine that transformer? Bostiv stared with dull ferocity at the electrician. He has not, he said.
Pancakes. Oh, I blew it.
I rewatched that full poopy reel recently, and there's still nothing I think that instantly makes me laugh harder than the bit where Crow's eyeballs set on fire.
Yeah.
Oh my god. It's really good. We watched the Poopy Reel 2 recently too, and it's good, but it's not quite as funny.
Pancakes.
It's one of my favorite bits too, honestly.
Okay.
Help us!
Dr. Satan walked to one wall of the pit, near the humming old motor. A cable led from the motor to a black box leaning against this wall. Dr. Satan raised the lid of the box. Over his red-robed shoulder could have been observed a maze of cobweb wires in the box, with vacuum tubes studding the maze, and glass terminals at the wire's ends. From the opposite end of the box came a small length of the fine wire that had led to the baby spot in the soundstage. I had to think about that for a long time just now.
That's right.
I was like, my brain didn't think baby spotlight, so I was just like, what the fuck is the baby spot? The vagina?
It's where the little baby is.
Is it the vagina?
We just went from one end of the spectrum to the complete opposite. Jesus Christ.
We went from baby spot to developed baby to proto baby.
Baby come from the baby spot. Baby shoot out the baby spot covered in the baby goo.
Oh my god. Why?
I'm a monster. Anyway.
Yes, you are.
And we love you, Alan.
From the opposite end of the box came a small length of the fine wire that had led to the baby spot in the soundstage. To this would be spliced the wire leading to the conference room. Dr. Satan's Luciferian head moved in a gesture of satisfaction.
I've always loved Luciferian as a, adjective.
I'm sorry, but the word Luciferian head after the word baby spot is now fucking with my head.
I understand.
All is ready. Prepare the wiring, Gerse. Sorry, I had to...
You had to get into character.
Yes. And if by the luck of the devil, my master, you should see Ascott Keane, you know what to do. If you can. Bostif started. His dull eyes swung toward the red mask. Keane? He croaked. Yes. The word hissed from the masked lips. He is here, in Hollywood. He is to be killed at sight.
Killed at sight?
Yes.
Okay.
At sight.
At sight. You know what it is? I think the reason we kept stumbling earlier is that one thing about the building, that one syntax error, and now I'm thrown for a loop. I think I finally figured it out.
Yeah, Paul's not on his game.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Paul. Latter half is a little bit rough, but we'll manage somehow.
The 8 men who headed the motion picture industry of the nation were in the RGR conference room at 11:50 next night. They faced Ascott Keane, who sat at the head of the board.
Oh, God.
Movie
That's
mogul
right.
Ascott Keane.
Ascott is in charge now.
Welcome to Keane Industries.
I'm a playboy millionaire who also solves mysteries, and I run my own movie studio. I basically do it all like Barbie. Even though Barbie doesn't.
Bertrand Phillips's face was dewed with sweat. He kept staring at the clock and running his tongue over his dry lips. In 10 minutes, he said huskily. If the payment is not made, I am to become as Stang became. Keane, I must make that payment. Keane shook his head. His face was pale, tense.
Don't even try me. You're a Wallstead now. Accept your fate.
Shut up, New Wallstead. Payment would only put off your fate. You would pay and pay again. There would come a time when you could pay no longer, and then Dr. Satan would strike. Much better just to die.
Or become a skeleton, which are weirdly enough not the same thing.
For he must keep terror alive in the hearts of others, and to do that, he must give a horrible object lesson at regular intervals.
I know this guy like the back of my fucking hand.
Wow, Keane, really fucking untangled the narrative, huh? Really just spelled it out for us. But what can we do? You have found out nothing. You admit it. No, I have not admitted it.
No.
No. I know.
No.
I know stuff. Shut up.
I want petulant Ascott Keane to be a recurring theme, please.
Hi.
I have found out a little. I have found out how Dr. Satan creates this ghastly illusion, for one thing. The man has devised a ray that changes the molecular arrangement of flesh.
How the fuck do you know this?
The ray, playing on flesh. You used to play bass for playing on flesh. So lines up the atoms of which that flesh is composed, that they fade from the range of vision of the average eye. It is as if a cloud of dust particles were so shaken as to line the particles up one behind the other. The cloud would become a thing of straight lines, seen end on, and hence not seen at all. I'm tagging him.
All right. But how is the ray controlled? From what place can it come? I don't know, said Keane.
Then how do you know it's a ray? What the fuck, dude?
And where does this Dr. Satan hide? Such a ray would mean equipment of some sort, perhaps bulky equipment. Where is it concealed? I don't know. Phillips sprang from the chair he habitually used and paced up and down the room, with the eyes on the others following him. I can't stand the strain any longer. I want to pay. He mopped at his forehead. Fancy going through the rest of my life as staying is doomed to do, unless he kills himself.
I want to pay. I have money, damn it.
He stopped abruptly, and a look of terror froze his face.
Shopping addiction is a very difficult.
I need to fucking get out there, man. Do you hear it? He whispered after a moment. Ascott Keane stared at him. Hear what? Voice! His whispers shivered in the conference room. A voice! I heard it distinctly. It said, remember, at midnight, pay or doom overtakes you at midnight. Frozen silence chained the room for an instant. Then the eyes all swung back to Keane. Telepathy, said Keane quietly.
What?
There was no voice. The words grew in your brain, Phillips, but I think it means that Dr. Satan is very near us. I'm afraid, panted Phillips. Keane, what are you going to do? I told you. We will wait here till midnight. Satan will strike then, or attempt to, and the nature of the attack and its source will determine my next move. But he strikes at me, sobbed Phillips. At me! You can't act quickly enough. He stopped and stared at the clock. 2 minutes of 12. With a groan, he sank into his chair again and buried his face in his hands. Keane stared at him with pity in his steely eyes, though inexorable purpose shaped his countenance. Then his eyes, too, sought the clock. 1.5 minutes to 12. A minute.
How did Dr. Satan project his diabolical ray? How could he control the invisible current that made flesh transparent so that the bony structure beneath, whose mineral content no doubt made it impervious to the ray, could be made so hideously plain? 40 seconds to 12 o'clock. Yeah, the rating's a little off. Yeah.
I mean, there's still some bits in here that are legit just making me die here, but it's good.
Phil's breathing rasped through the silence. The little fat man choked on a curve.
Yep, New Wallstead confirmed, right, gang?
Mm-hmm. The rest of the picture executives held their breaths. 30 seconds. There was a slight flicker of the lights. Out of that chair! Yelled Ascott Keane, springing up so swiftly that his own chair was overturned. That's how he does it! The lights! Out of that chair!
Oh my god.
You couch potato!
You fucking fat!
You fat fuck, Wallstead, get out of the chair!
You fuck bitch.
Yeah, all right, husky boy, get out of the chair.
Holy shit.
Oh my god. Are you tagging?
No, I'll keep going. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Philip stared at him in dazed lack of comprehension, with a kind of bleeding noise coming from his lips.
He's turned into a sheep.
Keane bounded toward him. Move, man! Damn it! Then! Keane's arm shot out. His hand clutched Philip's coat collar, and he pulled it backward with all of his strength. Philip shot back against the wall, crying aloud. And Keane, with a leap and a smash of his hand, broke the light bulb in the ceiling over the spot where the man had been sitting. Then, in the pandemonium of men unused to action and made into terrified animals by nearness of peril, Keane looked grimly at his hand. The fingers of that hand looked as if they had suddenly been turned to frosted glass. They were not quite opaque. In them could faintly be seen the outline of finger and knuckle bones. Dr. Satan's ray had accomplished a fraction of its deadly purpose before the bulb had been smashed.
That's interesting, said Captain Jack Sparrow.
It's so weird because it's like, isn't this just an illusion? Like, they're really...
But is it irreversible? That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
Could Joan Harwell have been saved?
Yeah, but this is Ascott Keane. Like, this would be irreversible.
I doubt it. I think they're going to find a way to reverse it. But, like, could you imagine how cool it would be if Ascott Keane went through the rest of the series with one skeletal hand?
That would be sick. Touche, he whispered. A slight partial victory for you, Dr. Satan. But also, I think, the beginning of the end. Okay. He stared at the light socket. Of course! It came from the lights! I should have thought of it instantly. Joan Harwell's flesh became invisible when the spotlights were played on her. Stang's head changed under the ceiling light above his desk. The lights, with Satan's ray traveling along their beams. He placed a chair beneath the shattered picture and examined it closely.
Dun dun dun.
I'll send it to Alan.
Okay. Let's bring it home. A fine bare wire came into view, soldered deftly to the socket, and threading up through the plaster of the ceiling with the main light wire. Disregarding the men who babbled and clutched at his arm, and who stared with horrified eyes at the milky fingers of his right hand, he walked to the window and leaned out.
Milky.
Milky, milky hand. The rays of a small flashlight showed him more of the fine wire, stretched unobtrusively, down the outside wall of the building, down the wall, to the ground, and at the other end of that wire... Gentlemen! Keane's vibrant voice cut across the din. I shall see you soon, and I think I will have conclusive news.
At the other end of the wire. Gentlemen. There are some gentlemen at the end of the wire. I will go greet them.
He went down and out of the building.
How?
For some reason, I just imagined Keane just jumping out of the window.
That's what I was thinking, too. Just like the Grey Ghost theme starts playing as he does so.
He went down and out of the building and around beneath the window. Off into the night, the fine wire ran, so inconspicuously that it would never have been seen by eyes not searching specially for it. Off into the night. Keane wandered into the woods.
We never saw him again.
People tell tales of a strange, tall bird creature.
With one see-through hand.
Off into the night, toward the great dark building which was RGR's property warehouse. Drawing a deep breath, Keane started tracing the wire to the source of the ray, and he prayed the man who had devised it.
Do you think RGR stands for Retro Goldwyn Ryer?
My brain keeps doing that, yes.
All right, that's part 3 of 4.
Didn't it say at the beginning what the name of the...
I don't think they ever did. No, we don't actually know what RGR stands for.
Okay.
But in my mind, it's Retro Goldwyn Ryer.
Sure, I can accept that.
Why not? Number 4, Black Box of Death. In the pit beneath the property warehouse, Dr. Satan stood with his head bowed, a little as though listening. He stood near the secret door, with Gers and Bostiff near him. Behind the big electric motor, the electrician lay with eyes closed as though asleep. But under the fringe of his lashes, he was watching the 3 near the door. And now and then, at long intervals, he moved a little. His movement was always in one direction, toward the mysterious black box to which a cable ran from the motor, and from which a fine bare wire trailed on the opposite end from the cable. This man, Joel Robinson, is about to use those special parts to make some robot friends.
Yes.
Could you imagine a season? Now I'm picturing a season of MST3K where Dr. Satan is the one forcing the test subjects to watch the movies. And Gers and Bostiff are with him in all the attention exchanges.
He's the Clayton Forrest.
He's the new Clayton Forrester. Gers and Bostiff hardly breathed as they watched their master. The red masked face lowered a bit more. They stared in silent respect, careful not to distract him. They knew what Dr. Satan was doing. They had seen him do it often before. Somewhere in the night outside, there was a person in whom Dr. Satan was vitally interested. He was reading that person's mind, through his marvelously advanced telepathic powers. I forgot he could just do that. Suddenly, the red-robed form stiffened. The red mask moved with words. "Phillips will pay!" The harsh, arrogant voice rang out. "He has escaped the doom of the ray. Someone suspected the source and broke the light bulb. Ascott Keane, probably." The red-gloved hands clenched. "But Phillips will pay. He has just telephoned his home to deliver to whatever messenger calls for it. the package of currency he made up before Keane persuaded him to hold off. Gerst, you will call for that package. First, as you go out, remove the wire from the pit to the conference room before it is traced. Then go to Philip's home. A malevolent chuckle sounded from the covered lips. $500,000, and it is only the beginning. The words stopped with awful suddenness, and the coal-black eyes glaring from the mask's eye holes began to gleam like fire opals. Dr. Satan turned suddenly and stared at the black box from which the fire wires ran. He stared also at the figure beside it. Did Joel do a thing? Did Joel actually do the thing? Okay. The electrician had edged his way from the motor to the box. Leaning on one elbow, with his terrified gaze going constantly to the ominous red form before the door, he had raised the lid and was peering at the maze of wires and tubes the box housed. He looked up and said, "What do you think, sirs?" No.
That would be great.
Yeah.
The man cried out a low, choked exclamation. There was no chance for him to pretend to sleep as he had done before. Satan had whirled and caught him as though he had eyes in the back of his head and had watched all along. No chance to conceal his fatal curiosity. The man could only stare, panting into the awful black eyes, with his hand still holding the open lid of the box. Dr. Satan walked slowly toward him. On either side, Gerst and Bostif moved with him. The terrible three advanced soundlessly, save for the slight rasp of Bostif's callous knuckles on the floor as he propelled his great big body forward. Just... The man screamed and cowered away from the box. He got to his feet wildly and tried to run, but there was no place to run. Gerst got him on one side and Bostif on the other. They dragged him to confront Dr. Satan. The eyes behind the eye holes in the mask were like small black windows into hell.
Ooh.
So, murmured Dr. Satan, no. You're curious to see what was in the box. His red sheathed arms folded themselves across his chest. His voice was as soft as satin. Nope. And as deadly as a snake's hiss.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Soft as satin. Nope. Not even remotely. Was scientific curiosity, he purred. Nope. Again, I don't understand why
Yeah.
No, there's no way in hell. I'm sorry.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
The inquisitive of the trained man. It is an odd thing. You're a prisoner here, afraid for your life, and rightly. But in the same room with you, there is a bit of electrical equipment such as you have never seen before. Mysterious equipment, a new invention, and you must look. With death staring you in the face, you can still be moved by that professional inquisitiveness. The human animal is an odd object.
People don't talk like this. This is
Dr. Satan does. Because he's extra like that.
But this is like something a person thinks of rather than says out loud.
Dr. Satan has a hard time knowing when he's thinking and when he's just talking out loud.
The man held by Gerst and Boston said nothing. It was doubtful if he heard the words or hearing understood them. Because Dr. Satan's voice was so gravelly. He's like, what? What's that? He stood there, half fainting in the grasp of the sinister two, staring at the death in the coal-black eyes.
So you would have read the secret of my ray,
The arrogant, calm voice went on.
No.
Again, no!
No.
and perhaps have exploited it for your own profit. And exploit it for your own profit when you get out of here. Fool, you'll never leave here. I could not have let you live.
Oh my God, my voice. Sorry.
You don't have to do it like that if you don't want to. It's hard.
Hold on, let me take a sip of water for that.
Dedicated to the craft.
He deserves nothing better. He deserves nothing worse than that. Better? Worse? Anyway.
You're going to give it your all.
I cannot have let you live in any case to bear witness as to what happened here. Now I'm doubly forced to remove you.
The red-clad form seemed to grow to tower taller in the low, cement-covered pit.
Curse! Bostif! Stand aside!
I'm going to fuck this guy over, but good.
But good.
Giggity.
Allen, please, my voice.
Good job. That was awesome.
The two released the man and moved away from him. The electrician sank to his knees, unable to support his weight on his trembling legs. I saw nothing, he chattered. I learned nothing, I swear. I wasn't even paying attention. Y'all do whatever weird fetish shit you want down here.
I mean, are you guys like a thing? I mean, I
don't judge, I swear. I'm just
Look,
here to do my job.
I just watched Eyes Wide Shut, and
guys, I'm just another face in a red jumpsuit. Like, come on.
He stopped. His lips continued to move for a moment, but no more words came. His eyes were like those of a bird, paralyzed by a serpent as he kneeled there.
Oh.
You wanted the secret of the box? Purred Dr. Satan.
No.
Well, you shall have it. I'm a little kitty cat.
Meow.
Meow, meow, purr.
Tugger was a curious cat.
Nya.
McCavity!
But it will be a different secret from the one you already have an inkling of. That transformer of mine has two functions. Sometimes it is a semi-truck, but then it becomes the robot warrior Optimus Prime.
The electrician suddenly pulls out a boombox and then unfolds it.
Oh, shit.
I've been ready for you, Dr. Satan.
Keane shows up, and the Dr. Satan and this electrician are just playing with action figures and making them fight each other.
Oh, no.
Ouch.
I'm now just imagining Joel from Mystery 3K playing Transformers with Dr. Satan, and it's a glorious vision.
Kirsten and Boston are just on the sides watching, like, completely confused.
You got Grimlock. That's so cool.
Oh my god, you built these yourself? That's amazing.
That transformer of mine has two functions. The primary ray, it can produce realigns realines molecules to make them invisible. The secondary ray causes atoms to collapse. The coal-black eyes beneath the mask burned more fiercely yet. Have you ever speculated on what would happen if atoms collapsed? Matter is nothing but a few atoms moving within certain confines. The rest is space. Your body, for example, is not a solid at all, really. It would be interesting to see what would happen if the atoms in your body were compacted to their limits. Gasping, the man stared at him. Dr. Satan moved to the box, with his eyes constantly impaling his victim.
Ow.
He reached within. A tiny light glowed in the side of the box. Dr. Satan trained its rays on the electrician. The man began to scream. The agony of hell was in those screams. Oh. But he did not move. His body twitched and jerked, but seemed incapable of muscular action.
On and on the screams continued, but gradually they changed tone. They grew higher, shriller in pitch, keeping time in their change of pitch with a phenomenal change in the man's body. It was growing steadily smaller. Oh my god, is it a shrink ray?
Oh my god.
It's a shrink ray now.
It really has two functions.
With poorly concealed terror in their... Honey, I shrunk the electrician. With poorly concealed terror in their eyes... Kirsten and Boston watched the fate of Dr. Satan's latest victim. They watched him shrivel from a man to a figure the size of a child. It was like peering down a telescope through the wrong end. A telescope so adjusted as to reduce an adult form to a statuette the size of a doll. On and on the unfortunate man screamed. Now the screams were like the shrilling of an insect, piercing the eardrums of the upper reaches of sound, but still scarcely audible. My God, whispered Boston at last. The man was a thing 2 inches high that peered up at the towering giant in the mile-high room. Gers and Bostif bent far down to see, keeping carefully out of the ray's beam. and they saw that the feebly shrilling tiny thing that had been a human being was sinking into the packed earth that made the floor of the pit. Small as he is, the calm, harsh voice of Dr. Satan droned out, he weighs as much as ever. And a thing 2 inches tall and weighing 160 or 70 pounds will sink through pretty solid substances.
Wait, what?
What?
Pardon?
He still has the same atomic weight, but not the same atomic... What?
But that doesn't make sense.
What? What?
It's Ant-Man rules.
What?
It's Ant-Man. It's Ant-Man rules.
Ant-Man rules. Okay. Sure. Oh my god.
Did Dr. Satan invent Ant-Man?
So Hank Pym stole this from Dr. Satan. Is what we're saying.
Like it.
Oh my god. Oh, now the ear could no longer hear the tiny shrilling of the man's screams, and the eye could no longer see him save as a blot, a pinpoint. The pinpoint remained the same in size. Dr. Satan turned off the deadly little light. Gers and Bostiv bent till their eyes were within 6 inches of the pinpoint. It was a hole in the hard-packed earth, a hole that might have been made by a fine needle. Down that hole the man had sunk. To where? God knew. Such concentrated weight might stop with the first rock layer of the Earth's crust, or it might sink and sink till Earth's center was reached. Either way, a slight threat to Dr. Satan's peace of mind had been removed. Holy shit.
Huh.
What you don't expect in this story, and once again, we start to get complacent, and here's Paul Ernst like, nope.
You thought I was done? You thought I was gonna stop at see-through flesh and skeleton people? Nah, dog. We're shrinking people and sending them to the crust of the earth.
These are the most...
I'm fucking crazy.
How are these stories still this unhinged?
I didn't expect that to happen.
This is great.
I wouldn't have guessed that in a million years.
I love this series so much. So much.
But this also kind of proves the whole movie. He wants this to be a movie so badly, because I could just visualize the shrinking and then this poor, like, having the kind of shitty green screen, black and white during this time period. Like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Well, damn.
Yeah, seriously. Would you?
And I'm assuming this is pre-Ant-Man. I mean, yes. I mean, like, comic book Ant-Man.
Yeah, like, I'm pretty sure this is all pre-Batman.
Yes, that's true.
So, we don't have Ant-Man yet.
The pit was very quiet, and as sweating, Bostif looked up at Dr. Satan again. The red-robed figure was moving convulsively.
Oh, God, it's so good! I love it when I do shit like this! Are you okay, Dr. Satan? Yes, I'm fine!
And with the horror in even his savage heart, Bostif read the meaning of the movement. Dr. Satan was laughing.
Dr. Satan has the weirdest laugh. He just flails his arms and goes...
If that's the case, remember that he laughed in front of Banks?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Now I'm picturing this weird, how Dr. Satan laughs. It's just this convulsing... Oh, yes, there it is.
I was gonna say, could you imagine that, like, him laughing outside a bank, and then, like, bank teller's like, is he okay? He looks like he's having
a stroke.
Yeah. I'm kind of worried. I can't tell if he's about to, like, have an attack or if he's just laughing. The doom he had meted out to the man was amusing to him.
At least he will see things if he lives that no human eyes have ever seen before.
Dr. Satan began. But the sentence was never finished. Another voice rang out in the pit. The voice of neither Gerst nor Bostif nor their hellish master. Perhaps he will sink far enough to pay his respects to the demon you emulate, if there is a devil in a deep-buried hell. A monkey-like cry came from Gerst's lips, and a rasping exclamation from the thick lips of Boston.
I'm sorry. I'm picturing Gerst Right? Crawl back and it plays a stock chimpanzee sound. I just
Keane, time out. Was that really your line? Come on.
Sorry.
Cut. Paul, what are we doing? Paul, what are we doing here?
Dr. Satan whirled toward the door with his hands clenched so hard over the rim of the black box that it seemed as if the red gloves must split. Ascott Keane, by heaven. More like by hell, but okay.
Ascott Keane, remember, fights with the power of God in anime, so...
Yep.
Yes.
Keane walked slowly forward from the door to which he had trailed the wire. He was empty-handed. He needed no weapons for defense from such as Bostiff and Gurse, and he knew that no ordinary weapons could injure Dr. Satan. But it was eerie to see him walk.
Hold on, really? Has anyone ever tried just shooting him?
Yeah, seriously. Just like, at this point, he's got nothing. He could just take out a gun and go, bam!
Like, imagine right now a police officer steps in behind Keane and just shoots Dr. Satan with a gun, and Dr. Satan's like, oh!
What the fuck? This wasn't supposed to happen.
God damn it!
You were supposed to use magical Egypt fire at some point. Oh, God, I'm bleeding. My blood! My blood is out of my body.
Oh God, all my blood is coming out. Help! This never happens when magic is involved.
It was eerie to see him walk without apparent defense into the lair of the cold-blooded monster in red.
The eerie is spelled weird too.
I'm not going to question that. That could be a spelling of the time. I don't know.
True.
You trailed the wire.
Breathed Dr. Saint. No.
You found me, and you came alone. It is more than I could have hoped for. Hell yeah!
This is the best thing ever.
I finally got him right when I want him.
Suddenly, his body moved convulsively again, and Bostiff and Gurse saw that again he was laughing, with a laughter now more terrible than that with which... okay.
Sure.
But with a laughter now more terrible than that with which he had watched the disappearance of the electrician.
Paul, are you okay?
Paul, honey? Paul,
sweetie?
Paul got a call from Weird Tales magazine. It was just like, how's the story coming along, Paul? And Paul was like, great, yeah. It should be in next month's issue. And he's like, Paul, deadline is in 45 minutes. Oh, shit!
I'm picturing him driving. He's driving to Weird Tales' office in his car, typing furiously on his typewriter as he drives.
he's in a cab in the back of the cab.
Yes.
Sorry, I got super zooted and got real deep into this fucking like thing where like a guy shrinks. But fuck. Okay, yeah, be right there. Now more terrible than that with which he had watched the whisper of the electrician. More than I could have hoped for, Ascott Keane. You came.
At about time too.
But you shall not leave as you entered.
Relax. Don't do it when you want to get through it. Hey, Satan goes to Hollywood, gang.
Jesus Christ.
You came, but you shall not leave as you entered. Yeah?
Exactly. Relax. Don't do
it. That's when you said when I found you beneath the graveyard in New York, said Keane. But I left, and you very nearly stayed behind dead. Dr. Satan's laughter stopped. He had been laughing the whole time.
And convulsing. What's that? What?
His eyes glowed with cold triumph. That time I did not have the black box. This time I have, and you shall receive its emanations as the other did. With the words, his red-gloved hand flashed down. The tiny light glowed again, with its rays leveled straight at Keane. Keane shouted once, a yell of agony, then was silent. But he was not silent because the agony had ceased. The torture of that beam of light was a thing that tripled by the second, a thing that knocked the breath from his body and seemed to sear him in flame. And then Keane was dead. Oh, shit.
Keane always dies, though, and he comes back.
Yep.
With legs wide apart.
Oh my god, is he shooting him in the dick?
He stood there like a figure of stone, unable to move a muscle. And as he stood there, he became smaller.
No.
From Dr. Satan's masked lips came a grating cry, more eloquent of triumph than the waving pennants of a victorious army. I've got you! Ascott Keane's once tall frame had dwindled till his head was almost on a level with the head of the legless Bostiff. And still he stood there, braced on widespread legs, glaring at the figure in red. Success! And your doom, Ascott Keane! All right, tagging out.
All right. Hey, that's the line from the cover.
Yep.
Yeah. Dr. Satan moved closer to his victim, along the side of the clear-cut path to the beam. He thrust his red-covered face down close to Keane's face, which was a mask of agony. "Watch out!" screamed Gurse. But the words came too late. Already, Keane had moved. His right hand shot out and clutched Dr. Satan's red-robed shoulder. His left gripped the fabric of the robe at his throat. Indescribable amazement and almost superstitious fear glinted in the black eyes of the man who had roused such awe and such superstitious fear in others. "My God!" he gasped. "My God! You moved, but you can't move. No one can move with the paralysis of the beam on him. It's impossible, but you did." The hoarse, astounded words ended in a scream that was a faint echo of the shriek of the electrician, for Keane had pulled the red-cloaked figure before him so that the light from the black box caught it directly. "See how you like it," whispered Keane between gasps of agony. Hot. Bostiff and Gurse leaped forward. They clutched at Dr. Satan's robe and tried to tear him from Keane's grasp. But though his hands were so small that they looked like the hands of a child, they held their grip. His body was shrunken, but all its weight and all its muscle texture was left. He held the man with an unbreakable clutch. He is Ant-Man. "The light!" screamed Dr. Satan thinly. "Turn it off!"
It's so goddamn bright in here!
"I only wanted a penlight version of this, god damn it!" Both Gurse and Bostiff leaped toward the black box. Gurse bounded monkey-like over the earthen floor, Bostiff swinging in great loops on his thick arms. "Quick!" Gurse fumbled in the box, and apparently found no switch, for the deadly light continued to shine, and the red-robed form continued to shrink in size. He looked at Bostiff. The legless giant growled something impotently. The legless giant growled something impotently and caught up a hammer. He raised it over the box. "No! No!" Dr. Satan shrieked. "The rain must be reversed! Don't wreck the transformer!" You know how long it took me to get that actually worked out the way I wanted to? Not Optimus! Not again! I can't lose you again, Optimus! I'm tagging you now.
Okay, Bostiff dropped the hammer. Gurse continued to fumble. The red-clad body was now less than 4 feet tall. The red-clad body was less... Fucking God. The red-clad body was now less than 4 feet tall, scarcely an inch taller than Keane's grim, compacted frame.
"Behind the light!"
Choked Dr. Satan. "Gurse!" His racked cry stopped as the light did. Gurse had found the switch. Agony rolled from Keane. He could breathe again, but he kept his clutch on Dr. Satan. Keane spoke. His voice was piping because of his shortened vocal cords, but there was no lack of relentlessness in it. "Make me as I was before, or you die!"
"You can't kill me!"
raved Dr. Satan, trying to fruitlessly break Keane's grip.
"No man can kill me!"
Can you imagine how funny this would be on screen, though? You just take whoever's playing the characters and just uptick their voices a couple octaves.
Oh my God.
Help me!
Oh no. Oh my. That actually, out of all of the things from like horror movies from the 50s, that always creeped me out.
It's pretty creepy. Yep.
Good. It's good. It's a good movie.
It is a good movie. I could actually do
I
a
just,
high-pitched
I just want to spoil something for everyone listening. Let's just get this out of the way. If Alan seems unfocused during this episode, it's because his co-hosts gave him some fantastic news while this was happening, and he has just been off mic Googling things about that fantastic news this whole episode.
All will be revealed later.
at another time. Yeah, probably not for quite a few months. So
yeah. That's not my fault. It's David and Kayla's fault.
It's the best kind of distraction, though.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
let's get through this. We could talk more about it after.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I'm like thinking going for a higher pitch voice now because there's something
for
yeah.
You thought it was impossible for anyone to move while in the path of the atom compacting beam
said Keane.
But I moved, and you have occultist well as scientific methods of fighting, so have I. I've come to close grips with you at last. You'll go to the devil, your maker, at once if you don't do as I say.
Incredible.
You just had to channel your inner voice for Gracie for this.
Massive
I'm sorry. You fell on the floor.
Okay. Is that my voice?
Is that my voice?
Oh my god.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh my god, that was so good. Oh my god, that was so good.
Banned to Dr. Satan. The two swanning on Keane, but with their arms reaching for him, they stopped. His steely eyes were drilling into theirs, now Bostiff's, now Gerse's. Under the hypnotic gaze, they seemed to congeal.
The switch, girls! Gerse! The switch, Gerse!
Snapped Keane, moving Dr. Satan as he spoke till he was in the path of light instead of the red-robed body.
Move it backward and we'll see what happens!
Hold on.
Gerse, don't move!
Pan to Dr. Satan.
You hear me?
Screeching is so good.
Gerse moved like a sleepwalker toward the box.
Gerse!
Sorry. No, I'm not sorry. It was a cry of maniacal rage from the red masked lips.
Jim Henson's. This is Jim Henson's Dr. Satan babies.
I'm sorry.
The realization that they're super short now and nearly as much until you did this voice, and now I'm in love with this scenario. This is stupid. I love it. Oh my god. Oh, okay.
I'm gonna send it to Alan because I think that it's
okay.
not much voice.
Shit.
I need some water. Hold on.
But the monkey-like man went on, with Keene's power in the ascendancy even over Satan's. His hand found the switch. The light in the box snapped on. In no particular did the light seem to differ from that which had flashed like a baleful eye to collapse the atoms in a man's body and shrink him in stature. Yet now, under what seemed the same beam, Keene's stature increased. To 5 feet he grew. To 6. His face was a stony mask of triumph, tempered by the fact that Dr. Satan grew as he did. Ah, man, if we had left Short King Dr. Satan.
Aww. Oh my god, wouldn't that have been great? And the further episodes, it's like suddenly appeared a 3 foot tall.
The rays filtered through his body, apparently, to affect the red-robed body he had tried to block from the light. Enough! He snapped. Moving mechanically, Gerse turned the switch. Once more the light went out, and now Keane saw a curious thing. His half-transparent right hand, affected in the conference room, had become opaque again. Wow! That woman killed herself for no reason. In the beam that had been altered back to normal along with his stature. At every
this one didn't
point
have
in
to
this
have a
encounter,
body count, but it did.
At every point in this encounter with Dr. Satan, he had won. Only one person had died, so it's a full-on Ascott Keane victory. My body count gets lower and lower as this goes on. Now he had only to destroy that black box by the wall, and then destroy its master.
Wait. Time out. Keane, if you destroy the box, how are you going to reverse the effect on Stang? Are you just going to leave Stang, a guy who's got a skull and like a left arm that's skeletal?
Oh, well.
I think that's actually what he's about to do.
Oh my God, Keane.
With all of the I'm sorry.
Here we go.
With all the tiger strength in his big body, he thrust the red-robed figure suddenly from him and leaped toward the box. Dr. Satan staggered back against the wall, but his jet-black eyes suddenly flamed savage hope instead of impotent rage. Take us home.
This is me?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Keane did not see the change in expression. He was too intent on catching up the hammer Bostiff had dropped, too sure he had won completely. He raised the hammer over the box, with Gers and Bostiff making no move to stop him. Dr. Satan's eyes flared like live coals. And now, damn you, you're next, grated Keane, bringing down the hammer on all the intricate and delicate apparatus in the box as if it were the red-covered skull he'd struck. There was a soft explosion. Rays of blue flame leaped from the black box, bathing Keane in malevolent fire. He choked, cried out, and staggered back. Still a third secret box had yielded, almost certain destruction to him who wrecked it. A snarl like that of a victorious animal came from Satan's lips. He stared at his two men, and, stirring as though waking from sleep, they moved towards him with Keene's occult chains broken. The blue flame licked at Keene's body. "And so you die," rasped Dr. Satan, staring at him. "You have stopped me again, but this is the last time you'll interfere with my plans." With Gers and Bostiff following him, Satan left the pit. And behind them as the door closed, Ascott Keane lay with death playing through his body from the wrecked black box. A hum of the motor beside him grew to a wail, a scream, and then with a grinding roar subsided into silence. With no constantly tending hand to keep it running, the motor had at last burned out. Blind fate had rescued Keane. But Dr. Satan did not know that. He was not, after all, infallible. Grimly confident, he left for dead a man who was already stirring feebly to recover, almost within the hour, and play the part of Satan's nemesis once more. Another gripping tale about Dr. Satan, the world's realest criminal, will appear next month. In it, Dr. Satan will throw an automobile industry in Detroit into stark terror. Reserve your copy at your news dealers now! Da-da-da!
Which we've already read. And we'll get to the fifth one, I believe.
Yeah, the next time we do more of these. Okay. So what started out as skeletoning people with magic light turned into a shrinking and growing fisticuffs. This story is bonkers balls.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. This is crazy. This was...
And again...
it always ends up crazy in a new way.
Mm-hmm. It never fails to find a way to surprise us. I'm kind of impressed. That's 4 stories now where it's just curveball after curveball.
Yeah.
I think the only thing is, remember how in the original part I said it'd be really funny is if Stang was a recurring character, but every time you see him, he still has a skull for a head and a left arm. And Paul just confirmed that that's going to be the case. He's going to look like a skeleton for the rest of his life, or at least those parts of him are going to.
Yeah. Yeah. That's insane.
And we're just never going to return to that, I'm sure. But
yeah,
in our adaptation, in our inevitable adaptation we do, Stang needs to be a recurring character every so often. Every time we see him, he still has a skull and a skeletal hand. And Keane will talk to him. He goes, "Yeah, thanks for recovering that technology to reverse it, you dick."
Huh.
And Keen's like, I know, but at least I was able to fix my hand. Yeah, sure thing. Great. Awesome. Cool. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well.
Okay.
Woo!
How do we feel about this one compared to the other three that we've read?
God, it just gets wild. Like, each one is just its own, like, flavor of crazy. That's how I feel right now. It's not as, like, dumb as the clock thing, but...
It doesn't quite top the clock in terms of just asinine bullshit, but...
I don't think it's as crazy as someone's, like, too over-the-top crazy, but it's still there. It's still bumfuck wild.
Fair, yeah. But I think this is up there for me as one I've really enjoyed, just for the sheer weirdness. In sheer weirdness quality, this is pretty fucking strange. So, yeah. Oh. So, that was...
That was Dr. Satan.
That was Dr. Satan.
That sure was some Dr. Satan.
I believe in October, that's when we'll reveal the winners, if I recall, for the...
In October?
Yes.
That's the plan, yeah. So we probably have one more episode in between that, but yes, we're going to be announcing, we're going to be reading the stories, doing the judging, and announcing the winners of our new Pulp Fiction writing contest that we proposed. We have the entries corralled. We've got them ready to be analyzed. I know Abysmii's already read all of them as of this. We're still working on them over here in our own time. And yeah, we'll be getting those episodes out. We'll be announcing the winners slowly but surely beginning in October.
Dope.
Yeah. In the meantime, if you want to support this show, you can check us out at creativehorror.com if you haven't done so already, or the Creative Horror YouTube channel if you want to subscribe to this in its YouTube podcast form. Subscribing on Apple Podcasts always helpful as well, or wherever you get your fine podcasts. We appreciate that. You can also check out the many other fine shows on the Creative Horror Network. Shows such as The Jameson Tapes and Trick or Track and Darkly Lit and The Witching Hour and Midnight Marinara, to name a few. You can also join our Patreon if you feel so inclined. Patreon.com/Creative Horror. Over there, we have choice dregs going up on the reg. A few other things in the background. Nice, healthy bit. And you can also come and join our Discord and talk to us about silly things. Like, that was one of the main sources where people were sharing and talking about entries for the writing challenge. And I'm happy to say that I think it based on what I've seen so far, it generated a lot of good authorial content. And I'm very happy to see what people have concocted and look forward to having the results out there. And again, any dollar amount helps the show, helps us keep the lights on. And we genuinely appreciate everybody who has contributed so far and continues to contribute. You guys rule.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah, I think our voices are all a little shot.
Sorry, my voice
Yeah,
is
yeah. I recorded appearance on another podcast yesterday where I was drinking and yelling the entire time. So
joy.
And now I'm here doing Dr. Satan voice. So
Thank you for your sacrifice, Alan.
no problem. Happy to be here.
Good evening, intrepid listeners. This is the Pasta Shade, the host of Midnight Marinara, and this podcast is part of CreativeHorror.com, a network of podcasts and creators working together to build a constructive community of horror fans. For more content like this, visit us at CreativeHorror.com.